Okay, thank you for staying with us on the show. It is often said that for any society to grow, for any nation to grow, for any state to develop, we have to get it right with the educational policies and programs. That's the only way a society can move forward. Countries in the world that are doing well, you can see obviously that the level of education is directly proportional to the level of development. All right, so I'd like to thank very especially Reverend Canon Timothy Igodaro for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's begin by talking about Nigeria's policy, educational policy, particularly as it relates to technical education, and how has that impacted on the country's development so far? What can be done to increase and improve the developmental impacts of technical education, as it were?
Okay. I want to thank you for having me. As far as we are concerned, the policy on technical education, on secondary education, on vocational education in Nigeria is perfect, very perfect on paper. But when it comes to implication, when it comes to application, external forces come to play. You see, in physics, they say when two or more bodies act upon another, their total momentum remains constant, provided no external forces are acting. Those external forces must act. How do you eliminate them? So it requires a dogged administrator, a strict administrator, to eliminate those external forces. Let's look at it. When 633 came, good. All schools in the secondary school, technical school, they must have trade that people can learn. And when they go to when they graduate, they'll be able to contribute to the economy. Let us look at what happened. Schools have no light, no electricity, but they supply all of them with equipment. With what are they going to drive it? That is number one. Number two, there were no technical teachers on the ground to teach those subjects. Because in the junior secondary school, if you have introductory technology, anybody, a graduate of technical education, can take JSS 1, JSS 2, JSS 3, because they are introductory. In the university, when you are taking technical and vocational education, you are given all areas straight. Your year one, you will go through all of them. It's your second year, you now specialize in an area. But when you now come to senior secondary school, SS1, SS2, SS3, it requires a specialist to teach them. So therefore, if they are having 5 trees, you are going to have 5 occupationally competent teachers in that environment. So because of that, they can't find them. Sometimes they resort to industry to bring people to teach them. But these people are not teachers. So they cannot actually impart knowledge on these children. So there is a gap. So that is the problem. So when you are going to implement a policy, you must make sure the infrastructure, both human and material, are on the ground. If not, don't start. 2, for them to have started with all schools in the country, that was a very wrong procedure. Let's take one technical college in each state, for example, and use it as a model. All the equipment, they are there. The capacity of the school is increased. So because of that, they can take in many students, they can employ many teachers, and they begin to teach them. As time goes on, we are going to find out that the next school will move into the next school. Maybe one in each senatorial district now. You duplicate that process. Before you know it, at minimal cost, everywhere is covered. Education is thriving as it's supposed to be. So in technical education, a technical college is going, the cost for establishing it is like establishing a university. Because there is no equipment they use in university that we don't use in technical college. But the only difference is that while the university use it for higher jobs, we use it for a lower one because we are undergoing training. So by the time they finish, they go back to the university, they improve on that. So there is a synergy between the technical college and the faculties of engineering and science. So when this is here, but what we have in Nigeria, there is no synergy. Everyone is just doing his own. The national policy is being implemented according to their own design, which is wrong. So because of that, we have a problem with technical and vocational education. That is one. The teachers that are teaching in the university, in the polytechnic, in the technical colleges, how long have they been trained? What is their training, what we call CPD, continuous professional development? Where is it? You see, in other climes, every teacher that is in the university, in the polytechnic, in the technical colleges, they have CPD designed by government for them. That means continuous professional development. What you are supposed to do within a year to improve yourself is reading a book is CPD. Going for seminar is CPD. Going for courses is CPD. Going for workshop is CPD on your area, so that you are always abreast of development in your area. So you see, in a technical college, there's what we call currency. It's an assessment process. It is what we call the rules of evidence. If a learner has generated evidence, you ask him, that evidence he has generated, is it current? If it is not current, then it's not useful. Because you cannot continue to replicate old things, because things are moving at a very fast rate. So you must also move with it. Even you don't even wait sometime for you to change the content of the National Occupation Standard. Why? Because you have seen something very important that is not in the occupational standard, and it is necessary you implement it straight ahead. Then you now inform the awarding organization that this is what we have seen on the field. We want to start practicing it. Then they now develop a seminar in which they will invite all practitioners to look at it, and then it is assimilated and becomes a new practice. This is how you develop. But in our case, it's quite different. So I would like to go now into the assessment. If you see this learner, how do you assess them? Because there are two types of assessment. You have what we call controlled or simulated environment for you to do your assessment. There's what we call uncontrolled environment, where you do where you assess your learners. Okay. So as I was talking to one of the lecturers from Igbenedion Health Technology, that they must assess their learner in a work environment so that they now have quality assurance. You see, there's a difference between quality control and quality assurance. When you talk of quality control, one person determines quality control. In the laboratory, you test, okay, it is all right. But in quality assurance, all stakeholders are involved. This one brings his idea, the other one brings his idea, the other one brings his idea. We mix them together, and then we resolve. You say when you have that like that, when a body is undergoing has what we call more than one velocity, called the component velocity, you have to resolve it. For instance, you are swimming through a river. The river is moving you down. You are also going across. So you have two component velocity now. You must resolve it so as to get the diagonal. That's what we mean by quality assurance. This one brings its own, this one brings its own. We resolve them to then we get our diagonal. That is the way it's going to move. That thing we have resolved is not static. 2 days later, people can come with more ideas. It begins to change, and the society begins to grow. So we are not saying that. We are saying any theory must be translated into skill. And that skill, when developed, will bring food to the table. We grow the economy. The economy will be happy. If the economy is happy, then democracy will thrive. Without economy, you can't thrive the democracy. If not, there will be anarchy. So Nigeria need to look at their policy, which is very good, and look again at the implementation. Because all those who benefited from colonial education are the people that want to implement technical education. It's not possible. Because if you go to some of the technical colleges, look at their principal, vice principal, what is their qualification? Many of them read sciences, which is wrong. Even though somebody have NCE technical, and you have a person who have a degree in physics in the school, the NCE technical man should head the school.
Not the physics degree.
Not the physics teacher, because he read science. So because of that, we should specialize in that area. Whether you read economics, there's no subject they don't teach in technical college. Some people don't know. Technical college is more advanced than the grammar school. In the grammar school, they teach what we call general education. There is also general education in the technical colleges. You
in
have
addition
physics,
to the technical education.
yes, you have physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, geography, agric science, economics, literature, English language, mathematics. They are out there. There is no subject they don't teach. The only subject they are not teaching at the moment is what we call Christian religious studies and Islamic studies. That's what they are not teaching. All other things are there. That is on one side. Then you have to take again your own technical college program. Whether you are reading carpentry, for instance, now, and joinery, you must take physics, you must take chemistry, you must take mathematics, you must take English, you must take economy. Then before you take carpentry and joinery, 220, 221. You add to, then you come to engineering drawing. You must take engineering drawing. So when you combine this, you have a perfect person. And when he goes to the university, you discover that he will be a better person. But fortunately, admission is very difficult for them. Admission is very difficult for them, even for a technical university. I can give you an example. Warri, Federal University of Petroleum Resources. I led the delegation to that place where a learner got admitted after JAM. Their post-UMA exam, he passed, and on the clearance, he brought National Business and Technical Examination Certificate. They said they are not admitting him. Why? Because he has that. But they didn't care. So when we now intervene to the university, university said it is their priority. It is their discretion to determine
who they want to admit or not.
We said no. Your discretion must be exercised within the law. There's a law which you must say. Your proprietor is the same proprietor of NAPTEP, federal government. And therefore, when you are doing things, you must not create disharmony within the educational system. We have been sold that he must take JAM, he took and passed. He must take post-UMA, he took and passed. Then what is the next thing? You look at the credit facility. And for their information, NAPTEP is the only examination body in this country that have jailed people for exam malpractice. No other examination body has done it. So
could this be as a result of ignorance on the part of the university?
It is. It is. No, if it's not ignorance, it will be what we call arrogance. Unnecessary arrogance. Because they don't know what we are doing. If you come to the technical colleges, they have what we call syllabus. They also have what we call national occupation standard. They are different. While syllabus taught of learning, knowledge, and understanding, national occupation standard deals with doing. Health standard, safety and health, it deals with all those ones. Knowledge and understanding, it deals with it too. So that you see this combination for this country would have been better. I'll give you an example. Most of our graduates are not employable. Are you not aware?
Yeah.
Because there is no skill. They didn't learn any skill there. They had knowledge and understanding. For instance, I'll give you an example. When I was, some days, a woman came to meet me that her car is in the forest. She goes to sell provision in the villages. And nobody can loosen her wheel nut because her tire is flat. She has a good spare. Nobody in that environment could loosen it. Then he came to me. I said, okay, let us go. On getting to the place, the whole villagers were laughing. So is this kind of small man that you brought? We thought you were bringing a man mountain. We that used to carry timber in the forest, we cannot loosen it. But I remember in physics that the moment of a force about a point is the product of the force and the perpendicular distance of its line of action from the point. That's theory. Now I'm going to translate it into skill.
Practical.
So I put my wheel spanner, I went to my boot, bring out a long rod, put it on it, and I begin to move it little by little. So that theory, you must be careful. Because when you apply a very large turning moment, instead of losing the knot, you just break it off. And then you have more trouble than before. So the skill must be there in how to apply the effort. Gradually. So when I applied it, it got losing. The whole village were shouting. I lose the fall, remove the tire, put the spare, knock it back. I say, pay me. So this knowledge we had in introductory physics, I've committed it now to skill, and it's generated economy. When he gave me that money, as I was going home, I bought bread, tea material for my children. And the people I bought it from, they were happy. Somebody came to buy. This is what we call the Webbish chain in the environment. So when one side thrives, the other side thrives.
Absolutely.
When the other one go down, the other one going down. That's why we're having a lure in the economy. Because the Nigerian economy is to be technologically enabled. So we must put that at the back of that. Every graduate, according to our governor, able governor, Governor Baseki, he said the graduate of these schools, how will they look like? That is a serious question. How will they look like? When he's talking how will they look like, he's talking of what can they do? Can they start on their own once you graduate from school? Can you open a workshop and become an employer of labor instead of looking from one ministry to the other? That's what he was saying. And I quite agree with him. And I told him I will be able, I know what to be done. It's assessment. Assessment in the technical colleges, in the university faculty of education, in the polytechnic is vocational. That means you give them work to do, conceived by the professor, by the faculty. They do it and they did very well. It's called 98. Faculty of engineering, using question and answer to determine who will pass or who will not pass. It's wrong. Question and answer determine only knowledge-based area. When it comes to skills and deployment of skill, he cannot assess it. So you need to develop other assessment method by which you are going to assess this learner. And one of those methods is what we call direct observation. You cannot do direct observation inside the university, but you can do it because it's you are doing vocational assessment. It's just introductory. Let them practice with it. But when it comes to a work environment, they have to go to a work environment. When we say a work environment, we don't mean companies and giant structure. Even a small workshop can be a work environment. I'll give you an example. For instance, a man was given a contract to produce seats for technical and secondary school. Now, those students in the technical college who are taking carpentry or furniture, they are sent to that place to participate in it. It is not their teacher that will assess them. If their teacher assesses them, there is no quality assurance. The owner of that workshop will assess them because there is a claim at the end of that product. Who is paying for it? Yeah. He expects competent people to be at the helm of affairs while that product is being produced. So therefore, these students now, which you have sent there to join the crew to produce this job, are now being assessed in a work environment. When they graduate, they are coming to a work environment. So as it is now, since every university, once your students have graduated, you employ them because you train them alone. There is no other people from outside that assess them. So if, for instance, they are doing bridge construction, you send your student there to go and participate in that construction. While they are doing it, the engineer on site will be assessing them. And at the end, we give feedback to the university. These students, this is what they did. Then they now translate them into figures, which the university will add to their own internal assessment and produce a learner.
You said a while ago that the Nigeria's policy on education is perfect.
Yes.
So if it's perfect, why is it difficult for it to produce a perfect system, perfect products that will impact on the economy?
Yes. You know, I will tell you, I say implementation. The implementation is wrong. Some people, I said those who benefit from colonial education. What do we mean by colonial education? When the British came here, they were looking for interpreters, inspector of produce, commodity boards. Those are the kind of education they left behind. University Ibadan is the first university that was built. It has no faculty of engineering. What they were looking for is that everything we need we import from Britain. And then they will use our people to get their product and export to Britain. That life, that spirit is still in the ministries. Because that is why they discriminate between BSc and HND. For no gross reason. Even some federal institutions. Some people who have HND, they went to the university and did postgraduate diploma. They refuse to recognize the same postgraduate diploma from the same university. To see you how bad it is, that it is not just a polity, it is devilish. Until even our former president, His Excellency, Professor Olusegun Obasanjo, he tried. They frustrated him. That thing did not see the light of the day. So that is what I'm trying to say. Implementation is wrong. They bring all kinds of forces into it that you will never see the light of the day. First of all, when the ministry releases money, who does it release the money to? Is it to the principal? I have seen where science equipment were procured by government. They brought it to the school for distribution. The thermometer they brought, our room temperature was already reading 40 degrees Celsius. How can we use such thermometer? Because the people who procure, they have no knowledge of it. If they are giving the money to the principals and then go and buy them, then they send auditors there to come and see the quality of product they purchase and then look at the cost analysis.
Not politicians.
No, not politicians.
Or businessmen.
No, none of them. Those who are in the system.
Okay.
They know what is supposed to be done. And if there's any disparity, the principal will be held liable. Because to every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You cannot give you money to buy things for your school and then you divert it. Then you face the consequence. No mercy for such people. Then when we begin to do it like that, you see that things begin to change. Then too, our teachers in the technical college, they need training. They need serious training. Do you know that we have been training vocational assessors all over the country? Some of people from Edo State have also been trained, but they were trained for federal institutions, not for state institutions. GGIZ was here the other day to have introduction to the teachers in this school, in the technical college. But that is not enough. They just introduction. We need to go further to train all our teachers in technical college as assessors. We call them quality assurance assessor.
Okay.
All of them. So they can do it in badges. This thing is being handled by the National Board for Technical Education, of which I am one of their facilitators. So we need to do that. In Britain, that is what they are doing. Even somebody selling meat in the market must have NSQ, National Skill Qualification. So Nigeria has one, National Skill Qualification Framework, in which I happen to be the head of that unit when I was in NAPTEP. So that unit is in charge of all skill qualification in the country. So this National Skill Qualification Framework are in 5 levels in Nigeria, but in Britain, they are in 8 levels. So they didn't just start with 8 levels. In Nigeria now, we have 6. We are building on it. A time will come, we move to 7. Because at that level, definition becomes difficult. Definition becomes unstable.
I was shocked to hear from you just now that a meat seller is supposed to be, ought to have a qualification,
yes,
or a certification.
Yes.
This is within the confines of the regulatory agency.
Exactly.
So why has it not been done?
Do you know that in 2018, the Honorable Minister for Education, Alhaji Malam Adamu, launched the National Skill Qualification at the National University Commission headquarters in February 2018. The head or the committee chairman of education, National Assembly, both Senate and House, they were present. They assured us by now there will be an act of the National Assembly so as to regulate this area. Up till now, there is no act. How can you implement it? And a National Board for Technical Education is acting on executive resolution. That means ESCO, the federal government ESCO, resolved that they should continue to implement it. That is what they are standing on. There is no law. So you cannot tell, for instance, a primary school teacher, all the teachers in that school are supposed to be occupational competent. What do they mean? They need to be trained in their area of which they are handling. Child care, early childhood. It's not by having a degree in early childhood. You have a degree in early childhood. Does not mean you should teach. You must come to this school and be trained as that you are occupationally competent. There are so many national occupation standards developed up to level 5. That is the only one that is up to level 5. So that you can come there, when you are trained, you'll be able to teach properly. You're able to move students for outside games or indoor games or excursion. Even the driver that is to drive them must have that same qualification. That's why you see that they go and bring Benin Republic, Togo to come and do plastering in Nigeria. Because in their place, they have fully implemented it by law. If you don't have that qualification, you cannot practice. If you are in a building site, there must be what we call safety officer, who have been trained in what we call safety application. So he is in charge to know that everything you are doing on site, you are safety conscious to reduce injury. But in Nigeria, you can be building a multi-story building, no health and safety officer on site, because we have not implemented it. You cannot put something down that have no law to back it. So the National Assembly is the first people that will make a law instituting the National Skill Qualification Framework. So thereafter, it will now be implemented at the state level, at the national level, and at the local government level. So that is what we are talking about.
Let's quickly cap this up. In a sense, we have seen youths calling education a scam, having some sort of abhorrence towards education. The order of the day is youths getting into ritualism just to make money.
Yeah.
What does this portend? Even those who are in school, what does this portend for the future
yes.
of this country?
You see, it is a decadent society, a society that is permissive, a society that allows anything to thrive because no enforcement. You see, those youth you are saying, we have a procedure for you to acquire skill. We have a procedure for you to acquire skill and move into engineering proper. These ones we don't want to be, we want to acquire skill. So there is a procedure. If all these things are implemented, you come to this place, I want skill on furniture making. You are taught skill. But definitely you must do a little literacy and numeracy. Because if I give you a contract to supply chairs, you should be able to quote for it, so that I'm able to have profit. Not to quote midway, the money is exhausted, you cannot continue. Because they have no literacy and numeracy. Even financial literacy. You need to teach them financial literacy and a little of economics. So these are what they can acquire. And they acquire the skill. This thing we are talking about, within 1 year, they are through. Not to be in the university, you start, everybody cannot go to university. Everybody cannot go there because there is a number of students they can take. The faculty of engineering has a number it can take because of facilities and because of teachers. So what do we do? Then those who are not ready to go to university, they can go to other vocational institutions where they are being trained. And then when they come out, they are able to establish. It's not to learn to. I asked my teacher in the university, I said, this refrigeration and air conditioning I'm about to take, when I graduate, will I be able to set up my own factory? He said, no, you will not be. I said, why? He said, you are going to deal with the first law of thermodynamics, the second law of thermodynamics, closed system, unclosed system, and that's what we are going to learn there. So I refused to take it. I left, and I went for safe motoring. Safe motoring. That's what this road safety or highway design, that's what I took as an elective. So you begin to see that that is what is happening in our schools. Theory.
What I mean, there's this semi-abhorrence of youth towards vocational training. I mean, if you have a mechanic,
yes,
your mechanic probably will tell you that young guys don't come again.
Yes.
To like, what does this portend?
Yeah. So you see that that is correct. Some of them will go there hoping to make money. When they go there, they find out that things are not as they leave. But those who are able to stay, they will make it. Because there is no way you can stay and learn and establish your own workshop without making money. Two, the government need to come and, because a time came we did what we call a Apprentice Ecosystem in the whole of Edo State. I was the team leader on behalf of the National Board on Technical Education. We went around all the local government area in this state, looking for apprentices, looking for ski man, a ski worker, looking for apprentice, and looking for a technical expert, which means they are master. We took them. How many ski? That means those who are graduated but like to work with their master. Yeah. We call them ski worker. And then those who are in apprenticeship scheme. We took them around the state. We sent them back. So what was the procedure? The procedure is that let them expand this workshop. Let them give them money. Let them give them material. Let them train them on business dealings like financial literacy, numeracy, and others, so that they can be able to handle more learners that will come. All trade, tailoring, carpentry, computer.
So what happened to it? What happened to it?
It's still at the.
Is this still functional?
No, it's still being implemented. It was a World Bank project.
Okay.
So 6 states were chosen from South-South. I mean, 1 state from South-South. 1 from Northeast, 1 from Northwest. For the 6 geopolitical zones, one state. Lucky in the South-South, Edo State was chosen. Okay. I was the team leader. So we have submitted our report to the contractor, which is Academy of Learning of Nigeria. So they have submitted their report to World Bank through MBT. So we are looking for the report. At least 3 or 4 people, even those selling spare parts in Uwelu, those selling newspapers, because they train people too. We went around them, we took the statistics, and we are sent to them. So such type of thing, the government of Nigeria can also copy it and implement it. I'm giving you, in Britain, when we are in school there, the government will bring 10 people. Say, I give you these 10 people, train them. They will pay their school fees. They pay all what they require. The school start training them. But every quarter, the government expects report per learner. When a learner fails to come, you must inform the government that he has not stopped coming. Then they will ask you, what have you done? You must take what you have done. The address he gave, you have been there. The phone number he gave, you have been calling him. He doesn't come. Sometimes we say we come, we not come. All these reports are made available to the government. So at the end of their training, when they are about to graduate, the government will come and find out. I gave you 10 people. How many people graduated? 7. They check their record. Yes, you have been complaining about 3 then that they refuse to come. That is not your fault. They take them out, they bring new one. So this national skill qualification framework should be sponsored by government. All the training we have been doing are sponsored by government. Because government is the one that will drive the process until a time is reached. Then the private sector will now come in. Because if the private sector just come in direct, they will set a standard that is very low. That's why all the assessors we have trained in the country, they have what we call unique learning number. Fantastic. So we track the activities. If you do and certify a learner competent, and we find out that learner is not competent, we will look for the assessor that certified and won. After that one, we see it again, we seize your license. If that is implemented in Nigeria, every exam malpractice will cease. Okay. Everybody will sit down. You can't come from a grammar school or a technical college. When you come for you to display this knowledge, you cannot. Then the principal should be held liable. The Minister of Education should be held liable. The local government should be held liable for exam malpractice.
All right. Thank you very much, Reverend Colonel Timothy Udara. I mean, anytime you're here to share this thoughts with us, it just shows the resource. I mean, you're just a reservoir of knowledge, particularly as it relates to what can be done to revamp our educational sector to make it more relevant to the 21st century need. Thank you so much for coming on the program.